3, 2, and 1. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We're the brothers from the GMS Indianapolis camp. And as always, we would like to open up by giving all the praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Hakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and preach the truth and truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect. And today I'm here with the brother Shakia. And I'm the brother Amawan Ayash. And we got an article pulled up for this lesson dealing with Donald Trump threatening to unleash full strength of U.S. Army on Iran, which we understand according to prophecy that what's going on with Israel and Iran. Ultimately with what Israel is doing, eventually America and these other nations are eventually going to get drawn in, to war, which is going to eventually lead to World War III.
Yep.
All right. Anything you want to say?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, just get that Jeremiah 50.
Okay. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45. It says, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai that he had taken against Babylon."
All right, and this is his what he's intending. This is what Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai is intending to do with Babylon the Great, aka America. Go ahead.
It says, "And his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans." It says, "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them."
And what you see going on with Israel and Iran right now, all right, when it says the least of the flock, that's talking about Israel. All right, the people that's there right now, that's talking about them. When I say Israel, I ain't talking about us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I'm talking about the ones that's in control of the land right now. But they're gonna draw America into this war. All right. Obviously, if you we're gonna get into that. That basically Trump, he's not trying to do nothing about it. But guess what? Matter of fact, Netanyahu, or was it Netanyahu?
Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister.
Yeah. He was basically, he was like, yeah, congratulations to America for the 250 a year. He was thanking Donald, or not thanking. He was wishing him a happy birthday and shit. All right, and basically he said that he's gonna that they're gonna fight together. I can't remember exactly how it went, because it's been a minute since I watched it. But basically his mind is set on like, hey, you're gonna come fight with us, nigga.
Yep. Hey, which the end result of this coming world war, which you understand, is that what both the lands of America, Babylon the Great, and the land of Israel are going to be completely destroyed. Which is why when you read the end of this verse, it says, "Surely he shall make the habitation desolate with them."
Yep.
You see, so America is going to be completely wiped off the map, and the land of Israel is going to get destroyed too, right?
Yep.
But the difference is, America is going to be completely destroyed forever, right? The fire is going to burn for an everlasting period of time, and then this land is going to be set aside for the various different desert creatures, birds and animals and things of that nature. But the land of Israel, our holy land, will be built back up in righteousness and established as the headquarters, for lack of better terms, in the coming kingdom. Yahweh Shai's kingdom, the righteous kingdom of heaven.
Yep. All right. So we can get into that article real quick. Here, I'll just read. It says, Donald Trump has threatened to unleash the full strength and might of the U.S. military on Iran in a rant. The president has been vocal over the weekend about ongoing strikes between the Middle Eastern country and Israel, with the conflict now entering its fourth day. All right, and best believe they're behind closed doors. It's being planned out. The U.S. president took to the social network Truth Social to insist he has nothing to do with an attack on Iran on Saturday, June 14th. However, Trump insisted he would not hesitate to retaliate if Iran were to target the U.S. The U.S. had nothing to do with the attack on Iran tonight, he said in a post yesterday. Hey, and you know the reason why he's not helping, because hey, he understands prophecy. You know, he understands that you know, if he does go war with Iran, with Israel, basically Russia's going to join in. You know, and he knows that his kingdom is going to be destroyed. You know.
But you see, they really ain't trying to fuck with Russia like that, because, you know, ultimately, we understand America is the state of Israel's #1 ally. Mm-hmm. So if Israel keeps progressing, all right, they're going the way that they're going, all right, hey, it's going to leave America with no choice but to be drawn into battle. You see? And when you read Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, all right, we know that Iran, when we read about the League of Nations that's going to be behind Gog, aka Russia. One of those nations are Persia, which we know Persia to be modern day Iran. Yeah. See, so if you got America and Israel going against Iran, guess what? That's going to push Russia to be drawn in too. You see, and ultimately it's going to lead to all these other nations be drawn into battle, and boom, we have World War III.
Yep. Yeah, it says, if we are attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the U.S. armed forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. And see, he's still in it. America still got that prideful spirit on them. Like they're basically the number one, that they got the number one army, you know. But hey, Yahweh Shah, he's going to show you something that you never seen on a level never seen before, you know. Prophecy is, you know. But it says, now we keep on going down a little. Yeah. It says, however, we can easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel and end this bloody conflict. So Trump, you know, trying to, you know, make things good, you know.
Precept.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, and verse 1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. You see, and that word heart goes into the Hebrew word lab, meaning your mind. So ultimately, we understand that it's the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that's in control of the minds of these kings, i.e. the rulers of these nations. You see, so when you see these countries trying to strike peace deals and things of that nature, ultimately that doesn't line up with prophecy, because prophecy tells us that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to gather these nations to the battle. Mm-hmm. You see, so this conflict that we're seeing going on right now it's not going to end. All right, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is only going to intensify, man, from this point on.
Yep. Hey, just like Pharaoh, you know, Pharaoh, he kept on saying, "Oh, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you guys go," you know. But guess what? It was the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It was Yahweh who was hardening, you know, Pharaoh's heart not to let him go, you know. So it's gonna be the same thing. Trump in his own mind, he thinks that he's gonna push peace, but you know, it's gonna come to a point where basically something's gonna happen. You know, the Lord's gonna put in his mind to just fight, you know.
Yep, peace gonna be completely out the picture.
Yeah.
And I actually got another precept for you. This is you got something you want to say?
Nah, I think we was thinking the same thing.
Ecclesiastes 3.
Yep, kinda.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, starting at verse 1, and I'll jump down. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Mm-hmm. Jumping down to verse 8, it says, a time to love and a time to hate. You see? And, hey, we in a time where, hey, the love of many is waxing cold. So, hey, man, right now, as we get closer to the end, hey, we in a time of hate. All right? Yeah. And ultimately, the time of love, ultimately, is going to come in the kingdom. Okay. It says a time of war and a time of peace. You want to speak on it?
Yeah, time of war. All right, because, hey, before the kingdom, all right, because the kingdom, hey, that's going to be just everlasting peace. Mm-hmm. All right, that's when the peace is going to come. But right now, we're in a time of war. Yep. All right, because Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has words that's written that hasn't come to pass yet. You know? So, and it includes war. Jacob's trouble, World War III. All right? It's all about war. It's death. All right? That's the time we're in. So, basically, hey, it ain't no time to be just in a mirthful spirit, you know, all your days. You know, because if you're in that type of spirit, guess what? You're going to get caught off guard, you know?
Okay.
But yeah, now let's get that Joel 2.
Okay. This is Joel chapter 2 and verse 20. It says, "But I will remove far off from you the northern army."
Mm-hmm. That northern army being America.
Mm-hmm.
All right, leaving America, you know? You got it?
It says, "And will drive him into a land barren and desolate."
Mm-hmm. Yep, Trump is going, just like that precept, that Proverbs 21:1. Trump is going to give out the orders. Go out to the, go out there, you know, go out to the war, you know, and then drive them into the land barren and desolate, you know, Saudi Arabia. All right, because that's where the fight is going to be at. That's where World War III is going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got it.
It says, "With his face toward the east sea,
Mm-hmm.
and his hinder part toward the utmost sea."
His face, all right, the direction the army's going in, all right, is going to be the Persian Gulf, all right, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, going into, you know, the back of the army or whatever, you know, it's going to be
The Red Sea.
Yeah, the Red Sea.
Yep.
All right.
Because dealing with the word hinder means behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have a map of Saudi Arabia pulled up. And when you look into the map of Arabia and you observe it, you see going towards the east, right there, situated there is the Persian Gulf. And behind that land is what? The Red Sea.
Mm-hmm.
See? And we understand that ultimately the Lord is gathering these nations, to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. When you read Joel the 3rd chapter, which we'll actually get it after this precept, to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, which ultimately is located over there in the Persian Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
You see? In which that's where the Lord is gathering all the armies of the nations to judge them.
Yep. It
says, "And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things."
So basically, it's going to be a great slaughtering over there. The American army is about to get slaughtered. All right, and guess what? The American army is going to consist of 2/3 of our people too. You know, or no, it's like wicked Israelites. You know, niggas that like to go around here shooting people. Hey, guess what? You gonna be able to shoot people all you want, you know. But yeah, this is what's coming. You know, this is what's coming. You know, these people don't see, you know, because Yahweh Shema Shai, he hasn't given them the eyesight to see, you know, of these things coming to pass, you know. But World War III is about to come, all right, and nuclear missiles is about to hit here in Babylon the Great, aka America. You know, no Iron Dome can save America, all right, because it's Yahweh Shema Shai's prophecies or words that's faithful and true, as it says. You know, it's going to come to pass. But you got it. Right?
Yep. I'll jump over a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Joel chapter 3, beginning of verse 9, it says, "Proclaim ye this among..."
I can read for you.
Okay.
Joel 3:9, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles."
Yeah, which those Gentiles are the actual heathen nations, which ultimately the Lord, he's going to gather them, all right, to the valley of decision, right? Yahweh Shaphat, Yahweh's judgment, or Yahweh's decision,
Mm-hmm.
right? And ultimately there, he's going to pour upon them his indignation, like Zephaniah the 3rd chapter goes into.
Okay. "Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up.
Mm-hmm.
Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hook into spears."
And ultimately plowshares and pruning hooks, those are tools used for farming and agriculture. So just like we read in Ecclesiastes 3 earlier, that there is a time of peace and a time of war, all right, ultimately what's being said here, all right, the Lord is telling these heathens to do away with their tool for farming and agriculture and get you weapons of war, because the times that we're coming into are indeed a time of war.
Mm-hmm. It says, "Let them come up." What was that? Verse 10 still?
Mm-hmm.
"Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong."
Yeah, let the weak say I'm strong, because there was a point in time where a lot of these nations, they didn't have access to the nuclear capability that they do now. So with the fact that they have access to nuclear capabilities, ultimately the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is allowing that so that the playing field for this coming world war can be leveled. And ultimately, all these nations are beginning with Russia. Right, you're gonna have Iran in there, you're gonna have Turkey in there, you're gonna have China in there, right? North Korea, all these other nations, man. All right, they're gonna shoot their missiles here at the lands of America and the lands of Israel, man.
Yeah, because back then, around like 1960s, 50s, America go to war with anybody, all right, while at the same time these other nations or other heathens, they'll have to step down, to the fight just because they didn't have the same artillery, But now they got the same artillery, Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord.
Yeah, but who are the mighty ones of the Lord? All right, his holy angels.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we understand according to prophecy, right? 2nd Ezra 13th chapter, that ultimately Yahweh Shai and the holy angels, they're going to intervene during this coming world war. And when they do, all right, the nations, they're going to stop fighting one another, and they're going to band together to fight against Yahweh Shai and the holy angels, and which ultimately they're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you read about that vision, that prophecy in 2nd Ezra 13th chapter, all right, Ezra said nothing else was at the end of the vision. Ezra said nothing was to be perceived but the smell of dust and smoke. Meaning, ultimately, these heathen nations that the Lord gathered together, they was utterly wiped out in this battle. You see? So that goes back into what you saying earlier, how Trump, pretty much having that pride in his military and things of that nature. All right, Yahweh Shai, he's getting ready to show you, all right, who's got the top military. You see? And ultimately, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has the top military. All right, we talk about the angels and the chariots, man. All right, shooting concentrated fire laser beams on these individuals. All right, they come in technology that's far advanced, right, than what Esau, Edom, so-called white man has. And the beautiful thing about it, all right, guess who blessed Esau, Edom, the so-called white man with his technology? None other than Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You see, so like you mentioned earlier, and just like the Lord hardened ancient Pharaoh's heart, guess what? Esau, Edom, all right, has been blessed with all this technology on the left-hand side, and in that, all right, the Lord has hardened his heart, all right, that he may show his power.
Okay. It says, verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat.
Which that translates to Yahweh's judgment, which also in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, or Yahweh's judgment, is going to be located over there in the Persian Gulf. Go ahead.
For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
So ultimately, that's the purpose of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, gathering the armies of these nations, all right, to pour upon them his indignation. You see, because at the end of the day, all these heathens have put their hands on the children of Israel. All right, and the time is coming where their recompense is about to fall upon their heads, man.
Yep. Okay. All right. You want some more?
That's it today. You want to go back into the article?
Let's see. What was that? It says, it comes, I don't know if you see where I'm at.
Yeah, I see where you're at.
Okay. It comes after the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu alleged Trump had been warned in advance about Israel's devastating strikes on Iran on Friday. So see, behind closed doors, they was, Netanyahu, he's letting them know, like, hey, this is what I'm about to do, We told them in advance. They knew about the strike, Netanyahu said in a video. What they will do now, I leave it to President Trump. He makes his own decisions independently. And we know, hey, we don't trust these devils, He's probably saying, hey, if once you see us start losing, hey, bring in some backup, or, some bullshit. And matter of fact, basically America was helping Israel, they was helping defend, destroying, missiles, coming to Israel, It says, Trump appeared to discourage Netanyahu from carrying out the strikes out of concern for the potential negative impact on U.S.-Iran negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. In a previous post to the social network, however, he warned Iran's leader would be dead if they failed to finalize the deal, which aims to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. So it's like, so is he saying that, damn, like, if you get nuclear weapons, hey, you're gonna die? Is that what he's saying right there?
Well, pretty much if they ain't follow through with the negotiation, then one of the leaders will die. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember what position the individual Iran was in, but when the strikes first fired off, it was like the general or somebody.
Yeah, somebody.
Someone in a high position actually died in one of the strikes. So
yeah,
you know, so it's like we seeing the same pattern all over again. You know, if we flash back to the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, what happened? Someone important in Iran, I can't remember who. I can't remember if it was like a scientist or something. I think it was a general back then, but you know, Israel through their strikes killed them. You see, and at the same time you had the uproars of the people going on, the demic going on. Right now, fast forward to today. All right, Israel and Iran is still going at it. You got uproars of the people going on with the Northern Kingdom and ICE and all that shit. Right, and you got 2 different strains, I believe, of a CV on the table. So, hey man, Lord's will, man, this is it.
Yeah, it look real good, you know. Everything is just popping on, you know. But here, I'm gonna jump down to the next paragraph, but not that one. The next one after that.
Okay.
Trump also claimed to have spoken to Vladimir Putin about the conflict in a call he said lasted an hour. The 79-year-old said the Russian president believes this war in Israel-Iran should end, adding that he told this despot his war should also end. All right, so let me see. So yeah, Trump, Putin, they talking about, you know, they don't want this war to go on. But here, I'm gonna pull this. Sirach 39, verse 16 says, all the works of the Lord are exceeding good, and whatsoever he commandeth shall be accomplished in due season. So yeah, in their own head, they're talking, oh yeah, we're gonna stop this. But guess what? The Lord, he intended it, you know, to happen on a certain day. You know, as the scriptures say, appointed time. You know, the Lord already appointed a time, you know, for this to happen. So when that time hit, you're going, y'all gonna send y'all armies out. Y'all gonna push them buttons, you know, of the nuclear missiles. All right, all that's gonna happen, you know, because the Lord commanded it. Mm-hmm. You know, who are you? You know,
precept.
You got it.
Yo, this is gonna be the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, and I'll start at verse 4. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai of hosts, mustered the battle. Mm-hmm. You see, also to muster means to gather. So, you know, these nations and whatnot, they're trying to strike peace deals with one another, trying to resolve conflict, but hey, the Lord doesn't have it written for conflict to be resolved, man. Mm-hmm. All right, the Lord has it written, okay, for these things to turn up, and also for it to lead to the destruction of Babylon the Great, modern day America. Okay, so like we read earlier in Proverbs 21, it's the Lord who's in control of the minds of these kings, man. All right, pushing them forward to fulfill His will. Right, verse 5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, and the weapons of His indignation to destroy the whole land of America. Right, which also we understand that the weapons that's going to be used to destroy this land are those ICBM nuclear missiles. You see? And on top of that, you got Yahweh Shai and the holy angels, in those chariots who are going to also be shooting those concentrated fire laser beams upon the people, executing judgment.
Yeah, so we can end it off on that.
So you got any closing precepts or anything?
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we pray this lesson was edifying and informative to the body of some sort. And as always, we'd like to close out by giving all the praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Archakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well and preached his truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect. And Lord's will see in the next lesson. Till then, we say shalom.
Shalom.